So as I was planning today's Thanksgiving service a couple weeks ago, because I had to go to Dallas last week, the song Celebration by Cole and the Gang popped into my head, and it stayed there. You know the song, celebrate good times, come on. And then the deep voice comes in and says, it's a celebration. Yeah. Now, as the song continued to reverberate in my ears for the rest of the day, something about its words struck me. So bring your good times, the song says, and your laughter too. We're going to celebrate your party with you. The words repeated themselves again and again as the song wouldn't leave my head. And then it hit me. Christian celebration is on a whole different level than what Cole and the Gang were describing. You see, though there's nothing wrong in coming together to celebrate good times, Christians celebrate something that transcends good times and laughter too. At that, Paul's words from our second reading came to my mind. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. The word for rejoice in the Greek means to be in a state of happiness and well-being. Once more, in Paul's day, it was used in a way akin to how Cole and the Gang used the word celebrate. To shout rejoice in Paul's day was like singing, let's celebrate. Now consider this. Paul wrote these words from prison while awaiting a trial whose outcome could result in his execution. Once more, the recipients of his letter, the church in Philippi, were being tempted by theological agitators and were suffering from severe relational strife. Not a cause for celebration, if you ask me. And yet Paul exhorts them to rejoice, not once, but twice in a single sentence. I can almost hear Cole and the Gang singing, so bring your shackles and your dysfunction too. We're going to celebrate your hot mess with you. I'm coming out with my album later. I mean, it's absurd, isn't it? Well, it would be if Christian celebration were based on circumstances. However, as I said before, our celebration exists on a whole different plane. What's that different plane? Well, listen to Paul's words again. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. You see, as Christians, the location of our celebration is Jesus Christ and all he has done, is doing, and will do for us. Let's break that apart a little bit. First, to rejoice in the Lord is to rejoice in all he has done for us. Our Old Testament reading and our psalmody actually gave us two examples of this. In the former, we learned of the worship liturgy and how the worshipers were to recount how God delivered them in Egypt as a way of giving thanks. And then in our psalmody, it's displayed right before us. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve him with gladness. Why? Well, know that he is the Lord. He is God. It is he who made us. And it says, enter his gates with thanksgiving. Why? For the Lord is good. His steadfast love endures forever. See what I'm talking about? Part of what it meant for Israel to rejoice in the Lord was to revel in all God has done for him. And the same is true for us. When we come to celebrate in good times and in bad, we're doing so to rehearse all God has done for us, especially all he has done for us through the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Second, to rejoice in the Lord is to rejoice in all he is doing for us. For the bread of God is he who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world, Jesus declared in our gospel reading. I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me shall not hunger. Whoever believes in me shall never thirst. Friends, there's a present aspect to Jesus' words here. Whenever we come together to celebrate in word and sacrament, he is present, giving himself to us. Through the means of his word, Jesus is here making us clean and growing us into his image. And in, with, and under the bread and wine at the altar, he's giving us his very flesh and blood for the forgiveness of sins. Through these very auspices, then, Jesus is giving us the life and salvation that he won for us in his death and resurrection. Thus, whether in good times like Cole and the gang or bad, we rejoice in the Lord because it's rooted in what he is doing for us. Third, to rejoice in the Lord is to rejoice in all he will do for us. You see, Paul's words here would be an empty phrase were they not connected to all Jesus has in store for us. Behold, I tell you a mystery, writes Paul elsewhere. We all shall be changed in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, and the dead will rage unperishable, and we shall be changed. On that day, everything sad will come untrue. As the angel declared to God in Revelation, on that day God will wipe away every tear from our eyes. Death shall be no more. There shall neither be crying, nor mourning, nor pain anymore, for the former way of things have passed away. I mean, if that's not a reason to celebrate, I don't know what is. So this morning, as we celebrate all of God's good gifts, let us remember Paul's words, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. Let us revel in what God has done for us. Let us receive in thanksgiving what God is doing for us. And let us celebrate what God will do for us. And in all of this, let us be encouraged all the more to celebrate amid good times, the bad, the tears, and the laughter. Let us pray. God, we thank you that we don't simply rejoice based on circumstances, but rather we rejoice in the Lord and all he has done, is doing, and will do for us. Help us, Lord, to be mindful of that so that we can celebrate and rejoice in the good times, in the bad, in the tears, but also in the laughter. We ask all of this in Jesus'